Hey guys, Solo here. Welcome back to another episode of Secret Smash Tech. Shh, don't tell anyone. And first up from Twitter user Genetic Piano, we have the info that the bottom blast zone for characters getting spiked is higher up than for characters just falling. Now, I've already known about this for a while because it's actually very relevant for Ike in particular. When Ike uses his Ether, on some stages, he will actually die second, and you can completely rob games with Aethercide this way. So even though Ike is much lower here than Wolf, Wolf is still actually going to die first. This is because a second blast zone exists specifically for Wolf in this case because he is getting spiked. Characters actually slow down the longer they are in Ether, right? The spike starts to wear off, they go a little bit slower. And as a result, because the longer it takes for the Ether to get to the bottom of the screen, the slower the character being spiked is going to be moving, Ike starts to catch up. This means that on stages that have a longer distance from the stage to the blast zone, Ike will actually die first and cannot rob stocks as easily on these stages. So on stages like Town and City and Kalos, Aethercide will often kill Ike first instead of second, but on stages like FD and PS2, Ike will actually die second and can rob games, so this is a really interesting one. A friend of mine, an Ike main who goes by Saint Absol, actually made a chart for every single character in the game and every stage that is legal, showing who dies first in what scenario. And I think that's really interesting, so check it out in the description if you want to know more. And this one comes from duo_m2 on Twitter, but I thought it was pretty interesting. It's something I feel like a lot of Samus, Lucario, Mewtwo mains know, but something I was not aware of. If you have a double jump and you try to jump out of a chargeable special while landing, the jump is cancelled and you're able to do whatever you want on the ground. Now this is useful of course because it means you can cancel without hitting shield and without jumping, so you can save some frames and sort of walk around and mix up your opponent. Now the way this works is you can actually cancel your charge with a double jump in the air, but it takes a few frames for that double jump to come out. The charge cancel animation has to play, and if you hit the ground during this charge cancel animation, well, it'll just cancel that animation and you can land and walk around like normal. So you'll get a free cancel on your charge and you'll get to move freely immediately after. Next up from Hobbs2, also on Twitter, we have just sort of the fact that characters have unique item toss speeds. This actually can be really relevant in matchups against like Rob and Diddy Kong, etc. And it can actually be pretty significant. Adding on to this, characters have different frame data when throwing items backwards versus throwing them forwards. In fact, some characters actually throw them faster backwards than they do forwards, like Pichu, which is really weird looking. This can be really relevant because it can affect what you can punish out of shield with an item throw, since item throws do skip the shield drop animation. Just thought this was interesting, and here you can see them side by side and see how big of a difference it does make. Next up, we got a few here from Zem, but I'm going to focus on the one in the middle because I thought it was the most interesting. Pummels can miss if done on a steep enough hill, so the opponent's hurt box is too high for it to connect. This is a really interesting one. Obviously, this isn't exactly relevant in competitive play, especially since we banned most of the slant stages, and the ones we still have too shallow of a slope for this to really happen on. But I tried to get this to work for a while, couldn't really figure out how to make it happen, but you have to pick a character with a relatively low pummel hitbox. In this case, I picked Kirby because he's so short. And then Jigglypuff doesn't have legs that go very far down, so it also makes it a little more consistent. I found some weird properties with this where characters will actually just sort of pop out of your grab immediately if you don't immediately pummel. If you pummel right away, they'll stay in your grab. And your pummel can actually miss, on these higher slopes. You can see me missing Jigglypuff here, and she pops out of the grab as soon as it misses, and I actually do 0 damage, which is pretty interesting. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of Secret Smash Tech. I hope you guys found it interesting. There is definitely more to come. As I said before, I have over 160 responses, and you guys have only been adding on to those in the YouTube comments, so I have a ton of information archived, and we will be making a whole series out of this because you guys seem to like the first one a lot. So thanks for watching. If you guys want to see more like this out of me, I do have a Patreon that includes coaching for tier 2 patrons, and you can check that out if you want to support me and hopefully see more tech videos out of me. Also subscribe if you want to keep up to date, and drop a like if you want to help me with the algorithm. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time.